We've talked about this leadership council now a couple of times. And if you missed yesterday's episode, if you missed all the stuff about the leadership council, Jason Kidd appointed a leadership council of 3 players, Luka, Kristaps Porzingis, and Tim Hardaway Jr. And Kidd and the leadership council came up with the idea to play all 15 players in the home opener. So Joseph wants to know, do you think the leadership council should have deliberated on whether or not Luka should have worn that outfit to practice?
Yes, they should have convened together. No, they shouldn't.
And if you didn't know what it is, I'll show it on YouTube. It's on Luka's Instagram if you want to go check it out. This is the photo right here of Luka. Some kind of like, man, how do I even describe it? A multicolored onesie of like squiggly colored lines, basically. Not a onesie, it's a jumpsuit, sorry.
Basically, if Joseph came from out of the Bible
to the Technicolor Dreamcoat
to 2021, he would have this jumpsuit instead.
You think Joseph from the Bible had pants too with the coat?
In 2021, he would have this jumpsuit. It wouldn't just be a coat; it would be the multi.
Would he be wearing Jordans too, like Luka is?
Yes, and they would take it from him.
Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat with Jordans. That's the Bible I want to read.
Let's go.
Yeah. So what else should the leadership council have decided on? Another question. What other things should the leadership council decide on for the Mavericks?
I heard that they axed the City Edition jersey from last year. I'm just kidding.
I saw a couple of those in the AAC the other night. I was like, oh, they weren't kids. They weren't kids though.
I liked the City Edition last year. It was my favorite stuff. I have a hoodie of it. I have a Luka jersey in that white and gold. I really liked them from last year.
I was when you said City Edition, I was thinking the graffiti ones.
Oh God, no! We erased that from our memory.
But I saw a couple of jerseys of those the other night.
How funny was? Gosh, if y'all been listening for to our pod for a while, that was like prime me, like not wanting to bash something that I feel like I couldn't, but I could. Like that was the hardest thing for me in the world because I hated that jersey. I hated it with a passion.
Other things the leadership council should decide on. While we're on the topic of jerseys, the rebrand. They should decide on the rebrand or not. Should the Mavericks do a rebrand? Boom, the leadership council decides on it. You know what else the leadership council needs to decide on? All right.
Analytics.
The other night at the game, I got a chicken strip basket, and I held up one of the chicken strips, and at the AAC, I got one. It was on the, I went down to the 3rd level. We went down because we're in the press box, which is the highest place, and I had a chicken strip. I showed it to Isaac, and he said, "Oh, you get fish?" That's how you know it's not a good chicken strip. The leadership council needs to weigh in on those chicken strips from the AAC, like concessions.
Yes, they need an upgrade on that. Although there is an upgrade on the main concourse. It looks really cool.
I should have gone all the way down there, but I didn't have time.
Realistically, though, I mean, here's the thing. The leadership council it's a lot of fun to poke holes at. Like even Ryan Russillo, took some shots at it today on his pod. It was funny.
Well, Zach Lowe, when the Bulls did this, Zach Lowe was joked about the Bulls leadership council for like 4 years. It felt like with all the who was in charge of the leadership council with the Bulls? Talk, and I'll look at it.
But no, like the idea of I get it. Like in a way, it's like cool too. We went on a whole thing of yesterday's pod. If you're in the comments saying, "Oh my gosh, what are these dudes like bashing Kid for this leadership council?" Like, I get it. We praised him for it on yesterday's pod towards the end of saying, this is like a new page, a new chapter for Kid, right?
So keep going.
No, well, I was just reiterating what we said yesterday. Of like all the stuff we heard about Kid in previous stops was, oh, it's just his way or the highway. He wants to dictate everything. He's controlling everything. And it's like, at least it's swung all the way the other direction, but at least he's like listening to other opinions and getting the players' opinions. Now, getting them deciding the rotation, that's probably a little too far for me, but
I don't think they did that. They decided how many players were going to play, but they didn't decide when. And how much. That's
kind of deciding. When they picked the
some of the end of the bench guys played 3 minutes. It's like they touched the floor. That was kind of it. To your point into all this, for all the jokes we're going to make about the leadership council, I think it's a positive thing. At least he's taking stock of what players want, and I think that's a positive thing.
It's a positive thing. I think there's a lot of different things of like, hey guys, like we haven't had a fun team night out in a while. What do you think we should do? Like Cool.
That's probably what the leadership council.
Did we have
on.
practice tomorrow? You think we're kind of burnt out? Like that's the read I'm getting right now. Do you feel that right now? How's the team vibe right now? Like
that one right there is exactly what they should do.
It's stuff like that. Like I totally get of like, okay, there's probably other teams that have a couple players. They do the exact same thing. They just don't call it the leadership council.
Doc Rivers' leadership council was, oh, we're old now. We're just not gonna practice ever.
I do think it's a little odd of like third game of the season we played all 15 players.
And it's odd for sure.
And it was a closer game, and it's being like they're being credited after the game for coming to the like talking to the coach about the idea. I think that's a little odd about it, but the concept of it, it's not like, you know, reinventing bread or anything. Like we get it.
No, it's best thing since sliced bread or reinventing the wheel. You just combine those.
There you go.
Reinventing bread.
Coin that. Trying, that's a new one. That's a new one.
You watch The Big Show and they just keep